Good evening, I'm Tanushree Ramesh and welcome to the evening updates. His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa yesterday pledged Bahrain's continuous support to the World Health Organization, viewing equitable access to vaccines as critical to defeating the coronavirus pandemic. Bahrain is currently battling a renewed increase in cases by extending the restrictions introduced earlier this month by 21 more days. Indoor gyms, sports halls and swimming pools will remain closed and social gatherings in homes to be limited up to 30 people until 14th March. The decision also limits outdoor group exercise to 30 people, while government institutions and entities must allow up to 70% of employees to work from home. Bahrain has also earlier banned indoor dining at restaurants and cafes and moved schools to remote learning after detecting a new variant of COVID-19. The Health Ministry has announced the deaths of two Bahraini men, aged 92 and 67 due to COVID-19 today. This takes the total number of fatalities to 420 in the kingdom. The ministry has expressed its condolences to the families of the deceased. Bahrain yesterday registered 777 new cases of COVID-19 alongside 704 recoveries and 4 fatalities. Of the new cases, 279 were expat workers, 481 contacts of active cases, and 17 travel-related. An additional 704 people recovered, taking the total recoveries to 108,353. Starting this Monday, all travelers should undergo 3 PCR tests for BD36 at their own expense upon arrival in the kingdom. Earlier, 2 tests were conducted for BD40. The first examination is carried out upon arrival, while the second examination occurs after 5 days. The third and final examination happens on the 10th day of arrival in Bahrain. Transit passengers and children below the age of 6 are not required to undergo testing. Travelers can make payments upon arrival in cash, digitally, in advance via the Be Aware Bahrain mobile app, or through payment machines located before the passport control at the arrival area. Passengers should remain in self-isolation until the result of the PCR test is out. The airport also requires citizens traveling abroad to sign a declaration form before departure, agreeing to bear any medical costs while abroad and mandatory COVID-19 testing once they arrive in Bahrain. Minister of Works, Municipality Affairs and Urban Planning, Essam bin Abdullah Khalif, held a virtual meeting with South Korean Ambassador to the Kingdom of Bahrain, Hye Kwang-chung. They discussed boosting cooperation between the two friendly countries, mainly in infrastructure projects being carried out by the ministry. They also reviewed ways of availing of the South Korean experiences in various areas, including construction, protected agricultural projects and fish farming. National Security Advisor and Royal Guard Commander Major General His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa held a telephone call with the US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. He lauded strong relations between the Kingdom of Bahrain and the United States of America, which reflected a long history of security coordination and strategic alliance. He also stressed Bahrain's keenness on further bolstering cooperation between the two friendly countries. The economic backlash of the COVID-19 pandemic has wiped out around 212 jobs in Bahrain. Labor and Social Development Minister Jamil Humaydan said that this was mainly due to the total or partial closure of establishments. He, however, said the government had saved 694 Bahrainis from losing their jobs. Out of the 906 requests received to cut workforce strength, authorities only approved 212 terminations. The remaining 694 Bahraini employees were retained or redeployed to other positions, added Humaydan. According to a recent report by the International Labour Organization, the pandemic had wiped out some 81 million jobs in 2020 in Asia and the Pacific region. More than 200 million coronavirus vaccine doses have been administered in at least 107 countries and territories, according to official sources. Some 45% of the injections took place in countries belonging to the wealthy G7 club, whose members promised on Friday to share doses more fairly with worse-off countries. The G7 accounts for just 10% of the global population. The United Arab Emirates to be second only to Israel in global vaccine administration rates. The country's Ministry of Health and Prevention said the total doses administered now stands at 5.46 million. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and stay updated with the news of Bahrain.